Well, let's get into this, shall we? Your 9 to 5 is very possibly killing your soul right now, but it's also keeping the lights on. And that dichotomy has really plagued me over the last few years, particularly in relation to YouTube. You put so much time and effort into this side project, which is a gamble from the start, with the hopes that it becomes something bigger that you can leverage off, particularly financially. And then it just doesn't work out. And that's really hard. Around 7 years ago, I got onto YouTube. Before that, I was the front man for a hip hop band. And before that, I played bass guitar in a punk band. So it's fair to say I like performing and I like being on stage. So when those two musical hobbies ended, YouTube was the natural progression. Pretty early on, I had success with one video, my concrete countertop. And it showed me that this was a viable income source and I could potentially take this full time. Maybe not necessarily only YouTube, but there was money in the space to be made. But like so many other channels around me at that time, I could not recreate that success. So over the next 7 years, I just kept trying and trying, but ultimately failing. It was also in that time that I discovered woodworking and realized that I would way rather be in the workshop than at my desk job as a product manager for a software company. Around that time, I was the breadwinner in my family. My wife was in and out of jobs, but she was finishing off her studying, so it was really on me to make sure that we had a stable source of income. And I was fine with that. Obviously, someone's got to have that role. But because that's where my focus had to be, I couldn't put more time into YouTube. I think if I'd been more successful in those early days, this would be a different landscape right now. Might not even be recording this video, but I was just never able to crack the algorithm again. So fast forward to earlier this year, and I was starting to become a little bit frustrated and desperate. The software job that I was in was good. I've had worse jobs before, but it was just the day in and day out of the same job. And being in a corporate environment where your loyalty isn't financially rewarded like it used to be in years gone by. So that ultimately led to me losing passion for that role and losing motivation just in life in general. And I wanted to get into the workshop to prove that I could do this and make this a success. But between my day job, 2 kids, looking after the house, I couldn't find the time. So it was this awful chicken and egg scenario that I couldn't break out of. As I mentioned, my wife was finishing off her studies. So about 2 months ago, she was offered a position for 2024 and she went ahead and took it. And this presented a very interesting opportunity for me. Because the job that she's getting after all those years of studying is a pretty well-paid job, this has allowed me to make a massive pivot in my career direction. She ended up getting accepted for the role, so I was able to put in my resignation, and with only 80,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, I quit my day job. And today is my very last day in that job. So after 16 years in the IT industry, today I leave it for good. As of this moment, I am officially a woodworker / content creator only. That is my only role. And even though my YouTube channel is relatively small, now being able to put all of my time and effort into it, over the next few years, I'm gonna bump those numbers up. So then, what's next? First off, I just wanna say a very big thank you to everyone who's followed along since day one. I occasionally get comments about my old place in Adelaide, and it's really cool to see that people have stuck around for the journey. If you are in a similar boat, thinking about quitting your day job to follow your passion project, or maybe you've just quit your day job and you're about to start that journey, this channel is going to be a great source of inspiration to you to get some ideas and tips about what's involved in starting a business from scratch. This is all new to me, so I'm going to be learning this along the way. So whatever happens, it's going to be entertaining. And because I am now my own boss, I make my own decisions, I get to decide how the business runs, I'm going to be fully transparent in terms of business decisions, costs, income. I've got nothing to hide. A good friend of mine recently said he doesn't care at all about woodworking, but what he is interested in is the journey that I'm on with my woodworking business. So this channel is now really going to be dedicated to that, showing what's involved starting a business and hopefully making it successful. In terms of the business itself, for the foreseeable future, I'll be taking on woodworking commissions. I've already had a couple, and I'll be filming those for YouTube. But over time, I want to try and move away from that slightly so I can concentrate on projects that I want to build and focus more on the YouTube channel itself. I've still got a couple sponsorship videos that I have to take care of, but after that, I don't want to do sponsorships, unless it's a really good gig. But I want to be able to focus on the videos that I want to make, the projects that I want to make, and just do that for a while and get away from making videos for other people. And for this particular channel, I'm also going to be focusing more on quantity. I've tried doing quality over the last couple of years, but I find it a bit of a tricky game because you end up wanting to make every video the best video you can make. And the downside of that is you continue to refine your concept and refine your edit for ages, and you end up hardly putting out any content. It's a bit of a negative feedback loop because you know that you could always make a better video. There's always one more thing that you can do, and that starts to haunt you. And I got tired of that. So bottom line is expect more output, maybe at the expense of quality, but it's not like it's gonna be a dumpster fire. I'm also gonna be building out a few more channels. And the idea is to keep those audiences very targeted. This channel will be specifically about woodworking and the woodworking business. But as those channels become available, obviously I'll let everyone know here. Okay, so welcome to the next chapter. No more holidays. Money is now officially very tight. No more buying fancy tools just because they're new and shiny. Anything that comes into the workshop has to have some kind of value. So I'm going to have a lot of restrictions in place on that. But it's funny, even with all of that in mind, I'm still more excited today than I have been for years. All right, we're just about to go into the Christmas period. I'm going to disappear now, enjoy my Christmas, and hit 2024 running. I hope you have a fantastic holiday period, and I can't wait to see everyone next year. I am excited.